Happy Millie Monday! With Father's Day coming up this Thursday, I want to make a gift for my dad. But before I can start, Dad, I know that you're watching this, so if it isn't Father's Day yet, you should stop watching now or continue and be spoiled, your choice. And with that out of the way, I can tell you my plan. Quite a while ago, I crocheted this pouch to hold my crochet hooks. I really love it, and over time I've made similar ones as gifts for friends and family, so I want to make one for my dad as a pencil case. Color-wise, I want to change the yellow parts to be black and do the pink parts in blue and green stripes. To start, I need a black zipper, this one should be the right length, and a big needle with a pointy end. I'm putting a length of yarn on the needle and coming up right next to the zipper end. I'm not cutting the yarn off of the ball, since I'll use that end later to start crocheting. Then, after securing the yarn around the zipper a few times, I can start with the loop stitch. So I go in where the thread comes out, come up a bit further along, and make sure to catch the loop of yarn. Again, going in where I just came out, come up a bit forwards and catch the loop. I'll continue with this stitch all the way along the zipper until I reach the other end. There, I'll come up a last time right next to the gap, using a bit of force to go through the strengthened area. Then I'm going around the gap a few times to secure it properly, before continuing the loop stitch by going in where I just came out, coming up on the other side and catching the yarn loop. Once I reach back to the start so that the next stitch would end up inside the first one, I am taking the blunt end of my needle and going underneath the loops of the first stitch before going back down where I last came up. This leaves a seamless transition and I can cut the yarn I had been using. Now to start crocheting, the yarn calls for a hook of 3 to 4 millimeters, so I'll use a 3 millimeter hook in order to get a tighter fabric in the end. Luckily, I've ended up with 84 stitches, which is a multiple of 12. If I hadn't, I would have to add more stitches in the first round until I got to a multiple of 12. But now I can just hook the back loop of the first stitch, grab my black yarn and chain 1. Then, starting in the same stitch, I make a single crochet into the back loop of every stitch, securing the loose end with the first few ones. In the whole pencil case, the single crochets will be worked into the back loops only, so I'm not going to mention it every time. Upon reaching the end of the round, I'm hooking the first single crochet, and because the next round will be worked in blue, I'm using my blue yarn to do a slip stitch and a chain 1. Then, starting in the same stitch, I am again working 84 single crochets all the way around. To close the round, I am ignoring the previous slip stitch and chain, hooking the first single crochet, and using my black yarn to slip stitch and chain. Now here is where it gets interesting. I'm working a repeat of 3 single crochets and what I call a double down, so I'm yarning over for a double crochet, but instead of the next stitch, I'm using the leftover front loop from the round below to make a double crochet. Repeating the 3 single crochets and a double down all the way around 21 times in total, before switching to my green yarn at the end of the round. This time I'm repeating 1 double down, 1 single crochet, another double down and 3 single crochets all the way around before switching back to black. On this round the repeat is 1 single crochet, 1 double down and 2 single crochets, so when the repeats are lined up there are 3 single crochets between the double downs, which forms these little squiggly lines. Now back in blue, the next repeat is 4 single crochets, 1 double down and 1 single crochet, so 5 single crochets between the double downs, and the double down should land on the ends of the squiggly lines. The next 7 rounds are just repeats of ones I've done before, so I'll speed through them. And with the collars complete, I just need 2 more rounds of single crochets before I can close it up. But because I don't want the seam to be visible on the outside, I'm opening the zipper and turning it inside out. Now I can line up the stitches in pairs and pick up the front loop from the front stitch and the back loop from the back stitch, then make a single crochet into both of them. I again pick up the front loop of the front stitch and the back loop of the back stitch and make a single crochet. After doing that all the way along, I can cut my yarn, pull it through and hide it in the seam I just made. And with that, I can turn it right side round again and the pencil case is finished. My longest pen fits in with room to spare and it doesn't poke out through the ends. So the only thing left to do is to stuff it with some chocolate, close it up and wait for Father's Day to arrive. And that was it for this week's episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more handmade content every Melly Monday, and let me know in the comments what you're doing for Father's Day if your country celebrates it. I love you, Dad, and I'll see you all next Melly Monday.